And 4 people did other jobs. I'm not going to do it again. Lynn can go. If I ever write it's nice of you to take over this job.
See it for a long time. It's a good challenge. Kim did.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Together, let's start our service by lighting the chalice. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together.
And as the chalice is lit, as the piano plays, may we begin to soften our hearts, and quiet our hearts, quiet our spirits, as we continue to look deep inside ourselves as a community, as individuals. Thank you. Thank you, John. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Low Country. My name is Charlie Tyler. I'm the pastoral minister here, and it's my pleasure to stand in front of you almost every week and to feel your presence and to know your joy and to know your hope, your dreams of what tomorrow may look like. We'll be giving a moment later on in the announcements to ask those of you who are guests and visitors if you're willing to stand and give us your name and tell us a little bit about where you're from. We'll do that. But first, let me take us through the announcements because I want to make sure that we take care of this. You'll see on one of your inserts the special Midsummer Music on Malthus. Kristen Maxwell will be with us on August 16th. That's a Saturday. And I hear extraordinary things about him, and I really want us to be able to encourage him while he's with us in the Low Country. So please look at your calendars and see if you might be able to take time for that.
It's a she.
Her, as you can see, I'm unfamiliar with this person, but we'll do our best to support them on the way back. You'll see the list of our speakers today. We have Dr. Katherine Seeber with us today. I got a little bit of an overview of her message, and I'm anxious to hear it. I just really need to sit down and let her start because I've got some questions. So you'll be anxious, I think, to hear what she has to say too. It's a pleasure to have her here. This coming Sunday, somebody is speaking, and then you see the rest of the speakers for August. One of them, of course, is my first cousin Ray, who will also be with us here. Enjoy him, his view of history. Are there any other announcements I should make or mess up along the way? Yes, Linda?
Somebody here has a big birthday today.
Somebody here has a birthday today?
Oh, Lynn Dortenberg.
Gordon?
Oh. Lynn
Lynn? Okay.
Nortenberg.
So,
Sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lynn. Happy birthday to you.
any other announcements that need to be made? No others? If I can, then, I'd like to ask those of you who are our first or second time visitors, if you would be willing to stand, tell us your name and a little bit about where you're from, because somebody may be from there too. Yes, if you would, please.
My name is Brett Pepe, and I am from Hilton Head Island.
Any other first or second time visitors willing to stand? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Katherine by and I'm from Dayton.
Welcome.
Others? Yes, sir, if you would, please.
I'm Rick DeSalvo. I'm here with my wife, Connie, in Sun City, Bonnie's a member of the church. I came over to see the place.
Well, good. I would be curious to know what the conversations were like on the coffee table after church on Sunday. But thank you for coming. It's good to have you here. Any others? I would like to introduce now Dr. Katherine Seeber to you. She has some opening words to make. I'm looking very much forward to hearing from her. Dr. Seeber.
Morning, everyone. Thank you for having me back. I've been here before. I came and gave you a talk last fall about Indigenous people and Indigenous people of the Low Country and how we're still connected to deep time. And I was asked to come back and talk about justice, and it just so happens, being an archaeologist, being a person who's a historian, I spend my time looking at how it worked and how it didn't in the past. I also am half West Virginian, and I have deep, deep, deep roots in the labor movement. I have grandparents that died in the Cold Wars. And so things related to social justice, that's where I was born. It's where I have lived my whole life. And it is why I do my job. So I'm very pleased to be with you today. I'm gonna give you the shortest possible version of what this is behind you. And I practiced 3 times to make it to 20 minutes. So if there's questions, we'll have to hold them until the talk back, but we're having one today, so I'm really excited to talk with you guys then as well.
Thank you, Dr. Seeber. Now, if you would please take your hymnals out and turn with me to hymn number 123, Spirit of Life. If you're willing and able to stand, please do so. Join our hearts together.
Sing
Now it's the very joyful time that we get to share our abundance. Thank you to all of you that have brought items for Bluffton Self-Help and the Sandalwood Food Pantry. Those items are delivered every week by our wonderful volunteers, and we thank you for sustaining those two charitable organizations in the Low Country. Very important. There's a lot of food insecurity happening right now. Also, we are going to pass the basket for you to share in your abundance with us so we can continue our wonderful mission that we strive to deliver to the community here and support each other in doing that. The baskets will be passed. Those of you that are visiting, please let the basket pass, as your presence here today is your gift to us. Thank you for your generosity.
Now is the time when we can take the opportunity to share our joys and or concerns. If you have a joy or concern, please come forward, take a stone from the basket, give us your name, and briefly share with us your joy and concern, and then place your stone in the cairn.
Hey, hi, I'm Diana. I just want to apologize for not coming to Bonko last night. I feel, the joy is that I feel loved. I feel cared about for not making it like, where were you? Stuff like that. You know, where have you been? You know, stuff like that. You know, it means a lot. It warms my heart. So I'm confessing, and I'm just grateful for all of you. That's all. And happy birthday, Lynn. Okay, you may be wondering. We had a lot of fun at Bunker last night.
We did come.
And if you come next time, you may be the one wearing these beautiful headgear. Wait, don't move, stand right there. Wait, where are you? I got you in there, Kim. Beautiful. Okay. We can put that in, I'll send it to Charlie or Lynn or somebody.
I also have a concern, and I'm asking for your prayers, good wishes, and whatever it is you send, positive vibes. I have a situation in my house where I've been, it's a mold condition, and I've been out of my house for 8 months. Yeah, this is the third renovation that's been done, or remediation, I should say. And so I'm waiting for the results. I should have them next week, so send out those good vibes that I'll be able to move back into my house, because the alternative is not good. So Thank you for your good thoughts on that.
This one requires a large stone. Just want to share what probably most of you already know through the UU Telegraph that our dear Kai left this planet on Friday, and we miss him terribly.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, David. Thank you.
Are you coming up, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can
Morning. Morning. My name is Mike Bartholomew. Just want to share a joy for you, the congregation. Certainly appreciate my better half, particularly, and myself. Appreciate all the support and very kind wishes over the last months and perhaps years as we took care of my father-in-law, June's father, Marvin. There were a lot of notes, and a lot of things that were said to June, and very helpful, best wishes. She certainly appreciated it and certainly helped us both, and her particularly, through the last several months, which were kind of trying for all. And one last thing, I appreciate the kind thoughts and notes and cards for me as I was going through some stuff over the last several months. Thank you so much.
I will then place 2 stones in the cairn for the joys and concerns that remain unspoken. I will also place a stone in our glass vase here for those children and families affected by gun violence. And now if we can read the affirmation together, it's in the back of your hymnal, number 561. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has.
Now we welcome Dr. Seeber back to the pulpit today for her message. Katie, if you would.
All right. I don't know if that was intentional, but you guys just wrote a quote by an anthropologist, which
It's true.
is crazy. Margaret Mead's a very famous female anthropologist, and she's one of the people that hold our job steady. That's what I am, an anthropologist, and studies human beings and works with human beings. So that was creepily appropriate.
Closer to the mic.
Closer to the mic. So, for people who give talks, all of us know that the shorter it has to be, the more we have to stay on script. So I'm going to read for you today, but just know it is in the efforts to make sure you're not here until the end of time. All right, so I just want to start out by saying thank you for having me back. I know there is many people here today that have been working in social justice movements their entire lives. Many people whom nothing I say to you today is going to be new. For you, I hope that this leaves you more inspired and hopeful that next time you're in your community, there's more folks with you. For others, I know there may never have been a time in which participating in social justice work was available, was important, was interesting maybe. And for you, I hope you leave here today feeling quite different. Usually I speak from a place of deep historic knowledge, And although I'm deeply connected personally to my work, I do not usually speak about my own experiences. But today I'm giving you this presentation as a person with deep knowledge about our topic, but also as a person, hold on. It was the Margaret Mead quote. But also as a person who is currently having my life torn apart by federal policies. Since I've seen you last, I've lost a child and almost lost my life in the process due to South Carolina women's health care law. I did that without health insurance because I own a small business and cannot afford it. I've been unwillingly separated from my partner, who now exists only in my life via text message and messaging. Due to federal immigration policy. My business, each quarter, nearly goes bankrupt because of the taxes that I pay that fund genocide. I wrote this whole presentation without myself in it for you, not referencing myself once, because that's what we're trained to do as educators. And then I finished, and I needed you to know, upon reflection, this isn't theory, that I'm living my praxis. I'm spending my days fighting so that I can survive my nighttime. In this moment, I need us all to understand that anything I tell you today comes from a deep desire to remind you that your voice and your actions matter. The intrinsic understanding that our time here is impactful on Earth, that our actions or inactions in our life are impactful. And I know you know that, but sometimes we need to remind ourselves. I'm going to talk to you about social justice, what it is and how to do it. When asked to speak about justice and those themes, I wanted to come here and give you first the story of why you need it, why it even exists. Because it hasn't always been like this, and it has not always been necessary for many people in the past. Then I'm going to talk about the practicality of how to do this. Sometimes it seems mysterious, but I hope today will not when you leave. I'm very positive many of us here have participated in social justice works or movements one way or another, but right now we need more. Right now I want to remind you of your power and your agency. First, we're going to talk about history. Thank goodness. So, this is not an exhaustive or nuanced presentation of human history because I have 20 minutes, but basically, for tens of thousands of years, human beings lived in a very particular way. We lived in community. Not the version of the word that means like a loose confederation of people who don't like their HOA. I mean the version that's synonymous with culture, something with deep roots, social rules, and belonging. For most people, this occurred before capitalism, colonialism, and industrialization. There were some hallmarks of community, which is what I have behind me. Communal living, meaning generations of people living in one house. Traditional and inherited knowledges, things like recipes, where to find the food, but also the stories and the superstitions and the memories that come with them. Limited transportation. Sounds kind of silly, but it means you didn't have to leave your home to live it. You can live within 30 or 40 miles of where you're born. It doesn't mean you don't leave, it just means you can do it. Environmental integration, living and working within an ecological system, not against it. Farming or gathering centered, food is made in your community. Localized production, your shoes and your nails and your pots and your pans are made by your neighbors. Slow or low urbanization, meaning people are not living in their own garbage, urine, feces, sharing the same space as animals, or in the streets. Only that happens when something's gone wrong. Bodily integration, generations of living in one place, offering a chance for your body to be optimized to your environment. This was how people lived for a very, very, very long time of human history. Attachment to place and time and memory is what makes us human. In places like this, communities of people had independent and socially relevant justice systems. For example, a grievous crime in many indigenous American communities was met with temporary shunning. The offender had to live without being looked at, talking to, being acknowledged, anything about their existence or anyone in their community helping them in any way, temporarily usually. Internal community justice often valued safety, security, well-being, and existence of each individual person and the group. Sometimes we think about things, and kids ask me a lot, like when were police invented or homeless people? It's the same time that communities as a functional unit of people were shattered. And I know where that is because I study it. Usually it's industrialization, whether it's the Industrial Revolution we had a few years ago in the 1700s or the Roman Empire, it's the same thing. Industrialization is founded on the principles of colonialism, capitalism, slavery, and the Enlightenment. Not always tossed together, but it's true. And that system completely broke communities that it sucked in or took over. Long-held social rules about fairness, justice, ethics, morals, and humanity were dismissed as a system as bureaucratic violence took over to facilitate the well-being of a corporation or a business. An example of that is not being able to get health care because of paperwork, right? Like that's just a very modern example. As humans lost their communities, their functional communities, their traditional way of existing, whether it's in Ireland or Sicily or Thailand or Namibia or Pennsylvania, the fight to protect ourselves and our relations was so common that we gave it a name, and its name is social justice. That was a very rapid journey through time, and I'm happy to talk about it more. But the point is that I hope this rapid journey through time reminds us that a tiny percentage of humans have lived in a world without community-based justice. Community-based justice systems, and the act of social justice isn't walking into an unknown future. Sometimes I encounter kids that think and talk about how social justice is you're working towards something you have no idea what it is. What's it going to look like when it's done? And to that I always say, our core human values of compassion, empathy, love, personhood, joy, patience, the stuff on the back of your pamphlet, that stuff comes from the first 298,240 years of human being existence. All those years, that's what gave us the things that we love about humans. The last little bit of it has been a trial, and that's when a lot of our social issues come from. So to know that there was a time before them always gives me hope. Practicing social justice is a refusal to be fooled into believing that systems of shareholders are more valuable than a single person. As soon as capitalism came onto the scene, it was resisted. For a brief moment, let us be reminded that many of us are fighting the same fight as our great-grandparents. Pray for the dead and fight like hell for the living. That quote has been on my office wall since I had an office. Mother Jones, who's the woman right there with the spectacles, she was an Irish woman who fought all day long, every day for workers' rights. In New York City, across America, she was at the strikes in Chicago and West Virginia and all the way out into the coal fields and all over New York City and Philadelphia, all the way down to Florida. And she said that in 1912. She's sitting with a dozen other people who spent their lives and sometimes cost their lives fighting for social justice. And I have these folks up here, and I'm not going to talk about each one of them. I would love to. But these are all people that sometimes folks don't know, like Sid Hatfield in Matewan, West Virginia, who was fighting against FBI agents killing his community. Mother Jones in New York. Yuriko Chiyama, who was fighting in the deep south as a Japanese woman in the 40s and 50s. Luisa Capetillo, who's a Puerto Rican person who was spending their time specifically fighting against gender suppression as an LGBTQ person in 1900. Sitka Say of the Dakota Nation, who refused to just be stereotyped. Eula Hall in Mud Creek, Kentucky in 1982, she's standing where her house was burned down as she's fighting for the rights of her community. Erica Huggins in Oakland, Dolores Huerta in Delano, California in the Grape Wars. Medgar Evans, who died fighting to get people to register to vote. Dorothy Irene Height, who worked in Harlem for the civil rights movement, Bella Azug, a Jewish woman in New York City who refused to be boxed in, and Vine Deloria Jr., a Native American man whose mother was an anthropologist making music behind us at Red Rocks, protesting. Sometimes it gets a little heavy because it's the same. This is a comic from 1921. That's a striker in West Virginia with a Marine pointing a gun at him after he'd come back from World War I, with President Johnson behind him and a mine owner behind them. The quote is, "They had been crushed and killed on their jobs, fired from them when they tried to organize a union. They'd been evicted from their company homes and machine gunned in their union tents." That could be yesterday, right? And that's the normal feeling, is like, we're doing this and it's not gonna change. But the thing is, it's because those people are battling forces that the people surrounding them were still investing in. It's the same reason that this quote by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is still hauntingly relevant 58 years later, while we watch civil rights he fought for being eroded. It says, "When machines and computers, profit motives and property rights are considered more important than people, the giant triplets of racism, extreme materialism, and militarism are incapable of being conquered." Why does it sound the same? It's because the people surrounding them, the communities surrounding them, still believed in the system of capitalism and industrial extraction, and they thought it was worth investing in. But by the grace of God, and I mean by the grace of God, in 2025, we can see things like democracy, the environment, social standards are crumbling, and that the system is not worth investing in, and that gives me hope. It's better to take it away and start fresh than to continue propping up something that is harming so many. And the process of doing that is social justice. It's when things and people are by, with, and for everyone, and we all show up to handle it. If it worked, you wouldn't need violence to maintain it. And that's the thing I've been teaching for 15 years. As people have told me over and over again, how the important parts of our society are propped up by capitalism. My own dad is very mad about the fact that I don't like capitalism. And I'm 36 with a PhD, and he still talks to me like a child about it because he feels like I don't understand. But baby, I do. Because this is the reality. So now that we've taken a trip to figure out where does it come from and what does it look like, we're going to figure out how to deal with it. This is a very practical guide, coming from lived experiences. And it's not the end-all be-all, but very often when I talk to people about how upset they are about the world, which is what I hear constantly. I stand out in archaeology sites constantly. I have talked to hundreds and hundreds of people this year in the street. And the deep concern from every person, whatever kind of votes they had, whatever kind of gender they are, whatever kind of year in age they are, everyone is deeply concerned. And so I figured instead of just telling you why it exists, I should really tell you also ways I've found to figure it out and deal with it. So step one, how do we do it? First, I'm not telling you what you're supposed to be fighting for. I'm trying to tell you how you could. No matter what, it's better to just do it, right? So reckoning with the fear is the first thing. I started organizing a long time ago, and it wasn't because I wanted to. It would have been more fun to be a kid. The thing that I see, hear, smell, and touch every time I speak with people about why they are not comfortable participating in social justice movements is fear. What will my loved ones think? I'll lose money from not being at work. I could lose my job. My friends will think I'm crazy or radical. I can't put my kids at risk because I'm a parent. I don't have time because my time is valuable. It's unsafe for me. I could be harmed. I could be arrested. I could be lost. All of these are fear, reason-based. I'm not advocating for you to lose the wisdom that tells you when you're making a poor choice. But I'm asking you to interrogate your fear. Look at it in the eye. Not a single person who's done a risky thing did it without fear. We do it scared out of our minds. I remember telling my fellow graduate students who would not march with me in Black Lives Matter protests in 2015 and 2016 that the people that were in the street standing on the highway blocking traffic were also losing their jobs, risking their bodies, and risking their lives, but things were so bad that was what they had to do. It was the last resort. Nobody wants to be spending their time fighting for the right to exist. We'd all rather just be gardening. But each day, now more and more than ever before, it gets increasingly less possible. The fear that's installed in you in a million ways, it sits inside us all. But the first thing you have to do, step one, is interrogate it. Is the risk of participating in social justice work more or less risky than global warming? Is it more or less risky than restarting the slave trade? Is it more or less risky than letting ICE invade our community, hunting people without cause? Is it more or less risky to lose rights for LGBTQ folks, or brown people, or black people, or women? Whose life is worth more? Yours or another, mine or another? Quickly the fear subsides. That's how I do it. When you stand on the front line of anything, you shine when you look at it in the face. Step two, find your compass. This means identify the goal you have in your heart and how you're going to work at it. Social justice work is work that starts in your heart and uses your brain to strategize. You must always have your heart first. You have to have the thing that remembers every dead person lost to policy instead of old age first. Next comes the logic. It's the reason young people are better at this than we are. It's the reason 16-year-olds are still so mad. Their brain's not done yet. They have like 7 years till it's finished cooking. Your compass is the issue that you have chosen to stand for, and once you've chosen, you do not move. Step three, dream your path. And I mean like super literal. Dreaming, daydream, night dream, waking dreams. Dream of what it will look like for people living in 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 generations or 7. Dream of their life being able to go to the doctor without paperwork. Dream of a place where food is clean. Dream about never meeting someone who lost their parents to genocide and then came here fleeing and then got kidnapped and locked away. Dream not by yourself. Dream with other people. Say the dream that you have out loud with your friends, with your family, with your children, with people in this church. If you dream by yourself, it goes away. You have to dream about the world that you want and then talk to the people around you, and it will give you strength and light. The things back here are like the principles that we use often to keep us focused. What is the common goal? The division of labor means like you're not supposed to be doing this by yourself. You do what you're good at. Understand your place in the equation means you're not the all of it and you're not the nothing of it. You're right there in the middle with everyone else. Patience is that you're not going to see the end of it. I'm not going to see the end of it. It's living and knowing you never get to see it done. Working in service of a goal and not an experience means that it doesn't matter how it feels when it's happening. Nobody enjoys having dogs set on them. Nobody enjoys doing a sit-in. Nobody enjoys calling your senators 7,000 times. Nobody enjoys writing 1 million letters, because that doesn't matter. Trust and communication is the final one for your dreams. Trust that your dreams can happen and communicate them. Step 4, find your team and practice. I have this theory that kids who played in band or sports are better at protest marching because we learn how to be the spokes of a wheel. Same thing goes for social justice work. You have to find your spokes. Who else wants to work on the same thing that you do? Sometimes these are formal, like this group behind me. We formed a group in graduate school called Anthropologists for Direct Action in the first version of this administration. We organized, had meetings, specific goals, and each week one person from the group organized a direct action that everyone else attended. Each week was a different social justice issue. We trained, we did not always agree, we did not like each other all the time, but we kept our work going, and we kept our jail from harming people, and we kept fellow Arab graduate students from being extracted and their families safe. It doesn't have to be like this. It can be an informal texting group, it can be a 90s style phone tree, it can be whatever you want, but it just has to be. Then you have to practice. Civil rights movements had workshops, training sessions at night, sometimes all weekend situations where chosen people would learn how to not move while people would hit them, while dogs barked, while water was being thrown, while they were being screamed at. Nobody went to a sit-in without preparing. Practicing is key. Behind me, we're writing scripts and in the basement of a building in a graduate school. We're writing scripts and practicing phone bank style calling with each other. And then we would phone bank for 3 or 4 days at a time, where we would have rotations. We would log thousands of calls to our senators. And eventually we got a town hall because it was so obnoxious. 5, physically show up. This is not ableist. This is sitting, standing, walking, writing, singing, talking, reframing, thinking, protesting, marching. It's doing. Maybe it's you and 10 other people calling every state representative you have to talk about things that you find to be important one weekend. Maybe it's you and a group of people going and sitting in town hall until the mayor tells you what we need to know and why they're making those choices. Maybe it's somebody making a whole bunch of resistance art and putting it up in the night. Showing up is defined by thinking, what is the norm that I am accepting that I do not like? What am I going to do to change it? Practicing and showing up has results. After 2 years of protesting in Broome County, a jail system that had killed 12 people by the time we started our work, the Broome County Council decided that they wanted to pass a law saying that if you intimidated a police officer, you could be arrested. That's a blatant violation of rights. We weren't going to let it happen. And myself and a group of students who were undergraduates, community members who are like parents after work, and older folks who were retired, and lawmakers went to the meeting. We wanted to discuss if this law should even be voted on. I was going to play the video, but it's very loud, and I can play it for you afterwards. But what ended up happening is we had been training for 2 years, we had been working in the community for 2 years, and we showed up that night because an impromptu secret vote was going to be held in our county to see if this law could get passed. We showed up, and there was every police officer in the county on duty. They had called all the undercover cops, they had called state troopers, they had called K-9 units, and this is a bunch of college students who just wanted to see what was going to happen civically. But we had trained. We knew what we were supposed to do. Half of us went to the meeting and half of us stayed out, just in case anyone needed help. We had a lawyer on deck. We had bail money. In that meeting, I was standing in there with my undergraduate students when I watched somebody push another person and all chaos broke out. There was a Black Lives Matter leader with us that day, and he had been targeted by police action over and over and over again. And we knew if he was arrested, there was a shot he would be harmed in the jail, because that was their track record. So instead of letting him be arrested, we strategically unarrested him, meaning I put my body in front of a police officer and would not move it until he got away. And I'm sure that was risky. But it goes back to the core principles of my life is not worth his any less. And I'm not saying that all of us have to take these kinds of actions. That's the still from it happening. He's in the center. But what I'm saying is, it takes a lot of time out of life to actually do it. And no one really wants to sacrifice that much, but the thing is that sometimes we have to. Step 6, you have to let your love keep you steady and keep you dreaming. Nothing is impossible. I get to see that because I teach deep time. I've looked at art that is 160,000 years old. Nothing is impossible. We see that in math and music and love for each other. But collectively, we live in a time where we need each other more than we ever have before. And I say that truly knowing, because it's my job to figure it out. We have to figure out what we're accepting that we don't like and what we're going to do to change that. We have to be shining, not fearless. We have to be rooted. We have to be dreaming. We have to be practical. We have to be present, and we have to be in love with each other. Social justice work is a choice about remembering what we are as human beings. We are one of many. We are all fully aware that we could change the world. One woman in this county has successfully gotten 97 books banned. One woman. What would happen if all the rest of us showed up to unban them? They would be unbanned. It's like not a hard math problem. I mean, we all got to know the time and the date and all that other practical stuff. I'm just saying, one woman did that, and we have more banned books in our county than any other county in the entire United States of America. When everyone shows up, or half of us shows up, or 1/3 of us shows up, it's monumental. That's liberation practice, and that's what social justice is. It's believing that the thing that you're contributing to is not for you, and it has nothing to do with your immediate life. It has everything to do with the people coming next and what we're going to leave them. And it's very important as we think about social justice to remember that we have a long, long, long line of beautiful humans that came before us who have built the world we live in, but also the things that make us us. And none of that has to do with policing. And none of that has to do with capitalism or colonialism or industrialism. We've only lived like this for a very short amount of time. There's a lot of us that remember a time when we didn't need to go to the grocery store the way we do now, because we were like growing food. I'm advocating in this moment that we are inspired by the people who come before us, and that we are not fearful, because that is not the thing that's going to help any of us. And that we remember that social justice is easy when you think about it in the long term, and very hard if you think about it just about you. And so the wrapping up of this is just for us to think about the ways in which we can contribute to our community, even in the smallest of ways. But if you don't schedule it in, it's not going to happen, and I promise you it will not get better. And that's it. Oh yeah, Amanda just had a great... Thank you, Amanda. She just reminded me to tell you, if you are interested about some of these things, and if you have noticed that our county does not have ICE agents or immigration agents in it, you're right, and that is because currently our police force does not cooperate with them. But next week, the Bluffton County Sheriff Tanner will be holding a meeting with the public to talk about how he would like to bring ICE into the community. It's at the Bluffton County Library. And I'm not going to give you the moment and the date right now because I'll do it wrong. But we know it, and it's on deck.
5:30.
And so we can give you that information if you're interested in hearing about it. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you, Dr. Seeber. We are anxious to hear more from you during a talk back, and I would encourage all of us to stay. We might be able to find ways to move forward one step at a time. If you could now, though, take your hymnals into your hands. Turn with me, if you will, to hymn number 168, One More Step. May we stand and sing together. So thankful for Dr. Seeber to be here today to give us challenges that we will continue for the rest of our life to work through as we take these values that are so important to us. Put them to work in the hardest and best ways possible. We have been given an outline. I think it's one that we might be able to put to work in our own lives, one by one, and as a community as a whole. Dr. Seeber, your closing remarks.
I did have closing remarks earlier, but the Margaret Mead quote that we read earlier seems to sort of encompass it all. So I think my closing remarks would be to take that quote and write it somewhere and put it on your fridge or put it on the wall and remember that it is the most truthful thing. And it's the thing that's what'll fix it.
It's now time to end our time together in the service, so if you would all please stand and join with me in extinguishing the chalice if you are willing and able. While we extinguish this flame, we still carry in our hearts the light of truth, the warmth of unity, the fire of commitment, until we are together again. Amen.